Example 2. Pushing a wall. You push a wall very hard. Force applied, yes. Displacement, no. So, work equals 0. Even though you feel tired, no physics work is done. So energy depends on how hard you push or force, how far things move. Part 7. How force depends on amplitude and proportionality constant. As we earlier said, amplitude is about size of motion, not speed. It is how far something moves from its normal position. And in vibration, small movement means small amplitude, and big movement means bigger amplitude. Now, imagine a ruler on a table. You tap it gently, results small vibration. You pull it more and release results big vibration. The distance it moves up and down is amplitude. Now ask a simple question. To make it move more, do you need more force or less force? Answer is obvious, more force. This is the core idea. When amplitude increases, the object is moving farther away from its rest position. To move it farther, you must push harder, pull harder. That means more amplitude needs more force. Writing this idea in physics language. Physics likes clean statements. So, we say, force is directly proportional to amplitude. This means if amplitude doubles, then force doubles. If amplitude becomes 0, then force becomes 0. They increase together in the same way. Why directly proportional is the correct word? Directly proportional means when one thing increases, the other increases in the same ratio. Example, 2 into amplitude, then 2 into force. 3 into amplitude, then 3 into force. To write it exactly, force equals K into amplitude. Now pause here. What does this K mean? It means how much force is needed per unit amplitude. To understand it better, look at this example. Let's imagine a very simple situation. You walk into an apple shop, nothing fancy, just apples and money. This small apple shop will help us understand proportional statements, constants and variables, equations, and how we find total cost, all with common sense. In this shop, every apple costs 10 rupees. This price is written on a board. Now customers come and buy apples. Some buy 1 apple, some buy 3 apples, some buy 10 apples. So, one thing is changing and one thing is not. Identify variable and constant variable. Number of apples. These changes from customer to customer. Constant. Price per apple equals 10 rupees. This does not change. That's why price per apple is called a constant. What does depends on mean here? The total cost depends on how many apples you buy. More apples result more money. Fewer apples result less money. So, we say, total cost depends on number of apples. In maths language, cost is directly proportional to number of apples. This is a proportional statement. Why this is not complete yet? The statement, cost is proportional to apples, does not tell us exact price, actual money value. It's like saying, more apples cost more money. True, but incomplete. Introducing the constant. To make it exact, we include the constant price. Price per apple equals 10 rupees. So now we write total cost equals 10 into number of apples. This is now a proper equation. Understanding the equation in words. This equation means total money you pay is equal to 10 rupees for each apple multiplied by the number of apples you buy. Nothing mysterious. Finding total cost with examples. Example 1. Buying 1 apple. Cost is 10 into 1 equals 10 rupees. Example 2. Buying 3 apples. Cost is 10 into 3 equals 30 rupees. Example 3. Buying 10 apples. Cost is 10 into 10 equals 100 rupees. Each time apples change, cost changes, price per apple stays fixed. Why 10 is called a constant. The number 10 does not depend on how many apples you buy. stays the same for everyone controls how fast cost increases. So we call it a constant, not a variable. What if price changes? If tomorrow price becomes 20 rupees per apple, then the equation becomes cost equals 20 into apples. This is a new situation with a new constant. But in one situation, price stays fixed. Same is the case with sound. The constant K is same in a fixed medium, but this constant can change if the medium changes, because different media have different stiffness and different densities, which affect how much force the medium can transfer per vibration. But the number of vibrations stays same and depends only on the source of sound. So, frequency doesn't change with change in medium. By the way, media is plural, form of medium. Connecting this to physics. This Apple example is exactly how physics works. In physics, amplitude is like number of apples, energy or loudness is like total cost, constant K is like price per apple. So we write force equals K into amplitude. So yes, K equals force per unit amplitude. No mystery. Part 8. What about displacement? And most important part, displacement is how far the particle moves. But wait, that's literally what amplitude is. So, displacement equals amplitude. No trick, no assumption, just definition. Now bring back the energy formula. Energy equals force into displacement substitute. What we know, force equals K into amplitude. Displacement equals amplitude. So, energy equals K into amplitude. Multiply it. Energy equals K into amplitude squared. That's it. That's where the square comes from. Not magic, not memorization, just logic. Part 10. Why not energy is directly proportional to amplitude? Because amplitude affects energy twice. Once, because bigger amplitude results bigger force. Second, because bigger amplitude results bigger distance moved. So doubling amplitude does this. Force doubles, distance doubles. Energy becomes 2 into 2 equals 4 times. Linear dependence fails. Square dependence is forced. Physics had no choice. Part 11. Numbers, because numbers don't lie. Amplitude equals 2, K equals 5. Force equals 10. As force is K into amplitude, which results 5 into 2 equals 10. Newton displacement equals 2. Energy equals 20. As energy is force into displacement, which results 10 into 2 equals 20 joules. Now amplitude equals 4, which is double force equals 20. As force is K into amplitude, which results 5 into 4 equals 20. Newton's displacement equals 4 as it moves along with amplitude. Energy equals 8, as energy is force into displacement, which results in 20 into 4 equals 80. Joule energy became 4 times. Amplitude became 2 times. Case closed. Part 12. Connect to loudness. Loudness depends on intensity. Intensity depends on energy. So finally, loudness is directly proportional to amplitude squared, not because textbooks say so, but because force into distance demands it. Final big takeaway. Amplitude is how far things move. Energy is how hard and how far. So amplitude enters energy twice. That's why it gets squared. So at the end we can say amplitude is about size, frequency is about how fast vibrations happen, and loudness is about strength ending. If this explanation finally made sense, congratulations, you didn't memorize physics today, you understood it. And once physics makes sense, it never scares you again. Thanks for watching. Stay curious.